All right, welcome to Adult Forum on end of September. And we are in Exodus. Exodus chapters 2 and 3. So we'll start at 2. Christy, or you want to start reading?
Just stop me when you'd like me to. I guess all of 2. It's not that long.
Yeah, it's not that long.
Now a man from the house of Levi went and married a Levite woman. The woman conceived and bore a son, and when she saw that he was a fine baby, she hid him 3 months. When she could hide him no longer, she got a papyrus basket for him and plastered it with bitumen and pitch. She put the child in it and placed it among the reeds on the bank of the river. His sister stood at a distance to see what would happen to him. The daughter of Pharaoh came down to bathe at the river, while her attendants walked beside the river. She saw the basket among the reeds and sent her maid to bring it. When she opened it, she saw the child. He was crying, and she took pity on him. "This must be one of the Hebrews' children," she said. Then his sister said to Pharaoh's daughter, "Shall I go and get you a nurse from the Hebrew women to nurse the child for you?" Pharaoh's daughter said to her, "Yes." So the girl went and called the child's mother. Pharaoh's daughter said to her, "Take this child and nurse it for me, and I will give you your wages." So the woman took the child and nursed it. When the child grew up, she brought him to Pharaoh's daughter, and she took him as her son. She named him Moses, because, she said, "I drew him out of the water." One day after Moses had grown up, he went out to his people and saw their forced labor. He saw an Egyptian beating a Hebrew, one of his kinsfolk. He looked this way and that, and seeing no one, he killed the Egyptian and hid him in the sand. When he went out the next day, he saw 2 Hebrews fighting, and he said to the one who was in the wrong, "Why do you strike your fellow Hebrew?" He answered, "Who made you a ruler and judge over us? Do you mean to kill me as you killed the Egyptian?" Then Moses was afraid and thought, "Surely this thing is known." When Pharaoh heard of it, he sought to kill Moses. But Moses fled from Pharaoh. He settled in the land of Midian and sat down by a well. The priest of Midian had 7 daughters. They came to draw water and filled the troughs to water their father's flock. But some shepherds came and drove them away. Moses got up and came to their defense and watered the flock. When they returned to their father Reuel, he said, "How is it that you have come back so soon today?" They said, "An Egyptian helped us against the shepherds. He even drew water for us and watered the flock." He said to his daughters, "Where is he? Why did you leave the man? Invite him to break bread." Moses agreed to stay with the man, and he gave Moses his daughter Zipporah in marriage. She bore a son, and he named him Gershom, for he said, "I have been an alien residing in a foreign land." After a long time, the king of Egypt died. The Israelites groaned under their slavery and cried out. Out of the slavery, their cry for help rose out to God. God heard their groaning, and God remembered his covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. God looked upon the Israelites and took notice of them.
A couple things that I like is that it must have been so hard for Moses' mother to put him in that basket and not know what was going to happen to him. But almost immediately, because of Miriam, she gets to nurse her own child. And usually natural, like I think back then, you might keep nursing till they're like 3. So in many ways, she got to take care of her own child while mentally preparing herself for the fact that at some point she'd give him up, but it wasn't really goodbye.
That's right.
And even got paid for it.
And so it was a good deal. I remember hearing this a long time ago, that when Moses sees an Egyptian beating a Hebrew and he looks this way or that and seeing no one, the question was, did he look to see, is there anyone here who's going to help? Oh, I have to do it. Or is there anyone here to see what I'm going to do?
Oh.
We don't know which it is, but isn't that interesting?
That's a good point. Very.
Because he might have been like, who's going to help this poor guy? Nobody. I guess I have to do it.
Yeah.
Which I think is interesting.
Yeah. It seems unlikely that there wouldn't be any other Hebrews around, and it was a forced labor situation, and one guy was getting beaten. They certainly wouldn't be dragging this guy off to be beaten in secret. They would have been beating him in front of his peers to make a point.
On purpose.
Yeah. So, of course, the other Hebrews knew that Moses killed the guy in his retaliation or his defense of the other Hebrew. But the fact that they're not keeping it secret, well, thanks, guys.
He was raised among Egyptians, so he might have
in that awkward situation that a lot of immigrants find themselves in,
Yeah.
second generation,
Yes.
of which side is it? Who,
Mhm.
and if the Hebrews had been enslaved for so long, they would be kind of othered.
Mm-hmm.
So if looking around seeing no one might just mean saw no Egyptians.
Yep.
So nobody
Exactly.
who counted.
That was my point.
Yes, you bring up a really good point of that second generation of immigrants often feel caught between two cultures.
Oh,
They can be a really good bridge. They end up translating for their parents a lot,
yeah.
and they're bilingual, but it can be very difficult for them to feel like they're not they're not white enough
Right.
and American enough.
Oh.
That whole combination, and
Yeah.
they're not often, from
Mhm.
their own culture enough,
Yeah.
and so that can feel odd. But
Mhm.
anyway, I digress.
I remember you told me a story about how when you were born, your parents wanted to give you a very Swedish name, but their parents forbade it.
Oh.
So that's why you're named Anne.
Why?
Yeah,
Really?
because that's not American enough. You need a more American name,
They
an
wanted
English name.
American name.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you see that too now, that sometimes you'll have a person with a kind of an accent and, what's your name? Brian.
Yes.
And they either chose that name or their parents gave that name
Okay.
on purpose
Yes.
so that they would. And it does make a difference in some ways, because it can be, people can get their name butchered and that can be frustrating, or their resumes overlooked
Yeah.
because the name doesn't sound white.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of Asian immigrants will give their children two names, the Chinese name or the Korean name or whatever, and then the American name.
Yeah.
Well, not
And they
even
go by one name in one community, one name in another.
Mhm. And that's not just the immigrants that do that. I work with a lot of Chinese who are in Shanghai and other parts of China as part of Dell,
Ah.
and it's part of the old culture. I mean, when I was learning
It's an
Deutsch,
older custom.
in my Deutsch class, we would each take a German name. I
Mm-hmm.
just chose Jakob because it's like, I don't need a different name for a different identity with different languages. But others chose very different names.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Chinese, when they're in the English-speaking setting, they prefer to go by their Western names.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting.
And it's kind of it's almost like not a class thing, but it's to them, taking on a Western name is
Mm-hmm.
a little bit of a show of I've learned the Western language, and I've taken on a Western identity as well as my Chinese identity.
Yeah.
It's interesting, Moses goes by a well. If you think of all of the stories of a well, Jacob's well, Jesus and the Samaritan woman by a well, there's a lot of symbolism there. Notice too that the father of the daughters is Ruel, but we're going to turn the page and it's Jethro.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
good.
Yeah, when I
Interesting.
read Ruel, I remember thinking that doesn't sound
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Editorial problem.
it's different traditions.
Mm-hmm.
So people have different names depending on the traditions, and then
Yeah.
they didn't have winners. They just decided to weave all the stories together. So
That two-language name practice is very ancient, particularly in parts of the world where there were a lot of cultures with different languages
Yeah.
next to each other, which is the case in China, for instance.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And Chinese isn't one language.
True.
And-
Not even just two. There's dozens.
And when they want to cross that barrier of they can't understand each other's dialect, they fall back on English forever.
that's funny. Also, I
Neutral.
didn't realize till I looked it up, but Horeb, where Moses is going to see the burning bush, the other name for Horeb is Mount Sinai. It's the same mountain. They just use it interchangeably. Same with, if we were looking in the Hebrew, how they refer to God, Elohim, or oh shoot, what's the other one? Anyway.
Shaddai. I'm just thinking
Yeah,
of
they
that
have
song by Amy
multiple. They
Grant.
have multiple names, yeah,
Yeah.
and it depends on the tradition of who's
And the
calling
names
it.
of God.
So yeah,
Jehovah.
yeah.
Say more about that well thing, please. I'm forgetting what is
Oh.
Jacob's well. What happened there?
Yeah, so when Jacob runs away after cheating his brother Esau, he goes to a well and Rachel comes and he basically sees her, says, "You are the one, you know, I want to marry you." And so it's this romantic interlude, and this is kind of similar where he protects the women from the shepherds, and then he ends up having a wife because of it. And so people have I think there's even another one too. Maybe Isaac and Rebecca meet at a well too. So then when Jesus meets the Samaritan woman at the well, there's that's not insignificant. And so some people think that's very interesting, that there's like almost romantic undertones to the story.
Yeah.
Like, why would they choose to have it at a well when there's all this precedent? It's just very,
That is
Yeah.
interesting.
it is very interesting. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Kristen, you want to start at
Sure.
3?
Moses was keeping the flock of his father-in-law Jethro, the priest of Midian. He led his flock beyond the wilderness and came to Horeb, the mountain of God. There the angel of the Lord appeared to him in a flame of fire out of a bush.
Oh.
He looked, and the bush was blazing, yet it was not consumed. Then Moses said, "I must turn aside and look at this great sight and see why the bush is not burned up." When the Lord saw that he had turned aside to see, God called to him out of the bush, "Moses, Moses!" And he said, "Here I am." Then he said, "Come no closer. Remove the sandals from your feet, for the place on which you are standing is holy ground." He said further, "I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob." And Moses hid his face, for he was afraid to look at God. Then the Lord said, "I have observed the misery of my people who are in Egypt. I have heard their cry on account of their taskmasters. Indeed, I know their sufferings, and I have come down to deliver them from the Egyptians, and to bring them up out of the land to a good and broad land, a land flowing with milk and honey, to the country of the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites. The cry of the Israelites has now come to me. I have also seen how the Egyptians oppressed them. So come, I will send you to Pharaoh to bring my people, the Israelites, out of Egypt." But Moses said to God, "Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the Israelites out of Egypt?"
Yeah, that's the thing.
He said, "I will be with you, and this shall be the sign for you that it is I who sent you. When you have brought the people out of Egypt, you shall worship God on this mountain." But Moses said to God, "If I come to the Israelites and say to them, 'The God of your ancestors has sent me to you,' and they ask me, 'What is his name?' what shall I say to him?" God said to Moses, "I am who I am." He said further, "Thus you shall say to the Israelites, 'I am has sent me to you.'" God also said to Moses, "Thus you shall say to the Israelites, 'The Lord, the God of your ancestors, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob has sent me to you. This is my name forever. This is my title for all generations.
Oh dear.
Go and assemble the elders of Israel and say to them, 'The Lord, the God of your ancestors, the God of Abraham, of Isaac, and of Jacob has appeared to me, saying, I have given heed to you and to what has been done to you in Egypt. I declare that I will bring you up out of the misery of Egypt, to the land of the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites, a land flowing with milk and honey. They will listen to your voice, and you and the elders of Israel shall go to the king of Egypt and say to him, 'The Lord, the God of the Hebrews, has met with us. Let us now go a 3 days' journey into the wilderness, so that we may sacrifice to the Lord our God.' I know, however, that the king of Egypt will not let you go unless compelled by a mighty hand. So I will stretch out my hand and strike Egypt with all my wonders that I will perform in it. After that he will let you go.
Okay.
I will bring this people into such favor with the Egyptians that, when you go, you will not go empty-handed. Each woman shall ask her neighbor and any woman living in the neighbor's house for jewelry, of silver and of gold, and clothing, and you shall put them on your sons and on your daughters, and so you shall plunder the Egyptians." I don't think I ever remembered that plundering part.
I know.
Yeah.
And it actually happens. It's very interesting when after Pharaoh's son dies, after the Passover, the next day as they're leaving, the Egyptians take off all of their jewelry and hand it over. They don't even have to ask for it. And I always thought that was really interesting to me. It felt like the Egyptians had clearly been watching everything going on. They were seeing all of the
I see it.
phenomenal
Yeah.
stuff. And they were like, okay, you guys won.
Please
You know,
take it, go.
It's just like a different perspective, right? They weren't just like,
Yeah.
they were, here's your consolation prize, you won.
Yes.
God was bigger than our God. Couple things. I just read this in a book, and I can't remember exactly which book, but the fire of the bush and the burning bush was in that time, it was a feminine imagery.
Oh.
Because the bush was one of the feminine images of God, and the fire is like the Shekinah, Holy Spirit fire.
Mm-hmm.
This is a predominantly feminine image. And so we always like, Moses, Moses.
Yes.
Nope, it should have been Moses, right?
Yeah.
It's just it's interesting how everything's been so masculinized.
Yes.
And when there are images of God in the feminine, our eyes scan right over them, or we don't know about them.
Yeah.
Well, it's a lot of historical context we don't have.
A lot of,
Yeah.
exactly. I mean, I didn't know that till the summer, that as I was reading in a book and they mentioned that, I'm like, how did I not know that? Other thing that's kind of cool is that God first identifies God's self as the God of your ancestors and names them. So there's a sense of relational, history and relation, and rather than just something abstract. And I'm also curious how much the Hebrew people had any rituals or theology, like what had been forgotten over time.
Oh, yeah.
Because it kind of seems to me, like with Moses giving the 10 Commandments and all of those laws, they were starting from scratch in some ways. They may have had memories of the stories of Abraham and Jacob and Isaac, but maybe they didn't have a lot of tradition.
That might explain why in Genesis the stories of Abraham, Jacob, and Isaac and all those are kind of thin. There's not a lot of the richness that you get describing Israelite life later on. Instead, it's just they're a bunch of people. They may have forgotten almost everything about them.
Could be. Yeah.
It makes sense that there'd be some Israelites somewhere that might still have some materials, but otherwise most of it would be what they could remember from stuff being passed down verbally from grandfather to grandson, and
Folk tales. The
Yeah.
only way to preserve it. And I know the modern Judaism, Passover is like the big central thing. So this whole story is kind of where it starts with religious customs and traditions.
Yeah.
And yet it's not the last slavery period they go through. It happens again.
Yeah.
So I also really like the I am who I am, which is a difficult translation because it's a play off of the verb being, to be.
Oh.
And so it's difficult to translate, but it's sort of like, I am the one who causes things to be.
Oh.
I am being itself. I am, I was, I will be. It's like all of these things, it's difficult to put into word. It's not a proper name. It's a play off of a verb. So it's like God is a verb more than a noun type of a thing. God is action, activity, creativity, which I think is really fascinating.
Yeah, it is.
And it also prevents, I think it was meant to prevent putting God in a box. However, we did anyway.
We did
We're
it
good at
anyway.
that.
We did anyway.
We are really good at that.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was really interesting to me the last couple of weeks, just thinking about how people get really stuck on their images of God and they'll argue. I mean, what would offend us? What would offend people if you have God as a woman or a child or a mountain or a
Oh, yeah.
immigrant or a gay person? You know, like what would offend people to expand that image? And that's where we have work to do.
It's not the big bearded guy in the clouds.
Yeah, it's so dominant. It's
just.
so dominant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked that about The Shack. You know that
Oh,
book that was
yeah.
popular many years ago. The father was a black woman. The son, I believe, is a white man. The Holy Spirit is like an Asian woman, I want to
I
say.
know.
I think so.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
one
For the
of
most I've read it. But
My
yeah.
sister read that, and she
Yes.
doesn't typically like. I don't want to say believe, but she has issues with the church, and she loved that because she was like, yeah, God doesn't have to be a white man.
Yeah.
Like,
My favorite was the father.
yeah. She was always in the kitchen.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sophia the judge. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
love when you mentioned the gay man. It's like, well, how would I know? I mean, I don't usually think of God means God and sexuality at all. So I mean, yeah, someone may act a little effeminate, but it's like, I mean, that doesn't tell me their preferences along those lines.
Or how
I
they
know
drag
plenty
queen.
of people who, okay, dressing in drag. Well, they're at the look like they may be female, and that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
mean, it definitely true. There's certain things we don't. I guess the idea is just if the image shocks us a little bit, there's probably a reason for it. I've often said that I'm really jealous that in Hinduism they have so many different images for the god and the goddess equally.
Okay.
It's not like, oh, we've got 1,000 images for God and 2 goddesses. It's equal. And they're meant to just literally be kind of like metaphors for the full array of personality. And so if we look just at the goddesses, on the one side, you have Sita and, some of these gentle, motherly, everybody really likes them.
Yeah, it does.
And then you move over to Durga and then Kali, who's terrifying. And but then you think about the character of Kali, who's got, the image of her is she's got severed heads as a necklace, and she's got like 8 arms. She's just terrifying.
Like vengeance, right?
It's demons that she cuts off. That's not like, she's not there to hurt anyone. Her love is so strong and fierce for your suffering that when you call on her, she will come and save you from the demons that are hounding you. But she does it.
Oh.
She's a mama bear.
She's a mama bear.
Yeah.
And so that's the misunderstanding. You see a picture of her, and like as Westerners, Christians, we're like, oh my gosh, that's terrible. What do Hindus believe? Like, this is demonic. It is not. That's the opposite of demonic. She kills the demons. Like, she's the only one who can. She's so fierce. But it's all, like, if you line up all the popular goddesses in a row, it's like the spectrum of personality and fierceness. But they all do what they do out of love. So
That's cool.
we don't, in Christianity, apply the same thing very well to God. We have this one dominant image of the white-bearded God,
Yeah.
and maybe we'll allow God to be a mother occasionally, but it's very imbalanced. And that's kind of it. We don't have a lot of room to grow. And that's where it's not that we have to give up, but like, we can learn from how other people see God and go, well, that's really interesting. Am I missing something? Are there aspects of God that I'm missing because my tradition has narrowed things down too much for me? So.
And they're coming out of Egypt, and their pantheon is wild.
Yeah.
And why do you say thing if you're studying Egyptian mythology? There's a lot of contradictions in it, and the Egyptians were fine with that.
Oh, I
It's
see
like,
that.
okay, so the world was created this way,
Yeah.
and the world was created this way.
Sort of this one.
They're just different ways of looking at it.
Sure.
Yeah.
At least as far as we can tell, looking back at it 4,000 years later, 3,000, whatever. And I know they had a creator deity. I can't think of their name right now, but they were both male and female at the same
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if it's exactly a 50-50 split, but there's a lot of goddesses.
Yeah.
By the time you get to like 2,000 years ago, mostly just two of them being worshipped, a male one and a female one.
Yeah.
The cult of Isis had gotten really strong, but
Yeah.
you go back to when this probably took place, it was very rich and diverse.
It was, and I'm reading some books that are basically saying way later than we think, the Hebrew people actually worshipped the diversity of God, meaning male and female. And that it was kind of around, I hate to say it, good King Josiah, that time and later, where the patriarchy really took over and demonized any feminine imagery of God, made it bad. So it's frustrating. I'm like, if this is true, this is really, really, really frustrating. That you can read some of the awful things that the prophets say and how they talk about, like, if you don't worship God in this way, you're whoring out, and they just use these awful, awful words and images, and they go up and they destroy the high places with the trees, which was all symbols of the feminine God. So somehow, like, that was the upswelling of patriarchy. And then a lot of the symbolism, like the burning bush, got completely, like, flattened out.
Oh.
And the story of Adam and Eve has, like, things were warped to oppress women and to say these things are evil and demonic, these things are good, and that this balance shifted. It's really disturbing. So I'm reading these books and they're coming from archaeological evidence and different writings, and just really, it's depressing to know that while there's really good things in here, it's missing, intentionally edited things out. And so we have had no concept of God as anything but a white guy with a beard.
The power of the editor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I digress.
One thing that struck me, I am who I am. I mean, it doesn't say this in here at all, but thought struck me. I mean, some of this is just going by the English translation, but if we're meant to reach for the divine, what would Jesus do, kind of thing, and find that in ourselves, is perfect divinity the moment when we truly know ourselves and are comfortable in just that, defined by nothing but ourselves. When we can say, I am who I am, and that's enough to know me.
I love
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
And obviously none of us can. But maybe that's a goal to reach for, but be that comfortable in ourselves, that unafraid.
Yeah.
It's like you talked about fear in your sermon today, and fear really holds us back.
I believe that's one of the things Jesus was trying to teach us. And he used phrases like, I am the good shepherd, I am the bread of life. Part of what people got upset about was it felt like he was quoting this, and so aligning himself with that. But actually, I think what you just said is a really important key. He wasn't claiming he was so special and everyone should worship him. he was saying, I am deeply connected to the one who is I am. I am not afraid. I am completely myself as I'm made to be. That is the way. That is the truth. That is
Okay,
the
that
life.
was good.
It's in all of you. And
Yeah.
you, when you connect to the source of all that is, the being itself, and you're unafraid and you've claimed who you are, you feel God's salvation and wholeness.
Mm-hmm.
And I can show you how to get there if you believe me and trust me.
Yeah.
It's kind of like finding our gifts too.
What?
Kind of like finding our gifts too, which you're also talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when we'll know what we're really
Yeah.
for.
I mean, look at Moses. He goes, who am I? Oh, who am I? Who am I? How frustrating must that be for God, who's trying to do such good work on the planet, and you've got
Yeah.
billions of people who are just going, who am I? Or worse, they think they're being faithful by going, I'm so bad, I'm nothing, I'm so sorry for my sins, blah, 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 right? They just give up all their power to, I don't know, everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's appealing. You give up responsibility too then.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not my fault. We all suck.
But at least I believe the right thing, so I'm going to heaven.
Yes.
Ugh.
I'm appropriately paying for that.
Yeah,
I'm not doing
exactly.
anything else.
How
but
frustrating God's like, you can actually create a little bit more heaven on earth now if you just like
Yeah.
Get over
On
it.
take
earth
up
as
your
it is in
power
heaven.
and
Yeah.
let me work through you.
Yeah, wasn't Moses? He couldn't speak or something. He didn't
Apparently.
have a great speaking voice.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe who knows if
That's why
that's
he gets
true.
Aaron to help him.
Yeah.
Right, but if that's true, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I can see how he would think that, and
Yeah.
God can still work through you.
Yeah.
You know.
I was just reading in a book last night about this guy who was born without arms or legs, right? He was born without them. But something in his upbringing clicked in a good way, and he was just like, I'm just going to do what I want to do. And so he
Okay.
got an education, he became a motivational speaker, got married, has had kids. Like he has a wonderful life
Wow.
because he didn't, believe
Yeah.
he was less than, or
Mm-hmm.
he didn't believe what other people said about what he could or couldn't do. And
Mm-hmm.
the irony is, even though God says, yes, bring Aaron, Moses does all the talking. I just think it's humorous.
That is funny.
Yeah.
He just needed his emotional support.
Right. Emotional
buddy.
support brother.
Totally.
Yep. You're an emotional support
Well,
brother.
what are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
I saw a guy wearing a T-shirt saying, "Emotional support husband, do not pet."
Yeah, that was one.
That's pretty good.
It gave me a chuckle too.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I do think this is a very interesting story to study.
Mm-hmm.
It's chilling that we have any comparisons, to things that are happening now.
Well, a good story's always going to be useful.
Mm.
That and those who don't study history are doomed to repeat it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And we've not been teaching our history very well lately.
I'm trying to remember who was it said this, but it said, history doesn't repeat, but it often rhymes.
Oh,
Mm.
that's good. Yeah, Leslie Jones, she was on Saturday Night Live.
Mm-hmm.
I guess she has like a late night show. I just see clips every once in a while, and she's talking about how the administration wants to shut down a lot of information about slavery in museums because it's depressing.
Yeah.
And he goes, and she said, yeah, when you learn about slavery, it's bad because slavery was bad. Yes, it makes you feel
Yes,
bad
they
because
were.
slavery was that bad. Just thought that was really funny how she put it.
Yep.
I don't get why people take that so personally too. Like, oh, if you're teaching me that white people would say black people was bad, then I feel guilty.
Right.
Why? Those people died over 150 years ago.
I love.
Why are you personally feeling guilty about it?
Yeah.
It's a very it's immature, and it's making you the victim again. So now instead of actually being mature and going, wow, this thing happened. I don't like that this thing happened, but look, I can be part of the solution. You're just making it about you. I feel bad.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to
that's
have
true.
to think about
I don't
that.
want to have to
Yeah.
think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable.
Depressing.
Well, it makes some of these people realize that this happened in their family history, and suddenly,
Yeah.
oh, my family was actually responsible for part of this way back then. I don't want to feel responsible for my
Yeah.
family. I want to feel proud of my family, and I want to be proud of America, because
Well,
America
good
shouldn't have anything bad in our history.
Yeah.
It's
I
very
got slave owners in my background.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
It's a very simplistic thinking. It's like I can only think really well of or really poorly of somebody. I can't. It couldn't possibly be both.
Yeah, it's the black
right?
and white again. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Which is
Yeah.
why I know this person can't ever do anything. I will never admit this person's done anything wrong because I like them. And it's really hard. Like it's a step in thinking to be able to go, this I like this person and they did something wrong. And I want to call them to a task for what they did wrong,
Oh.
and still hope that they, you know, maybe good things happen to them
Yeah.
or whatever. It's just the complicated grayness of life. Yeah.